How's it going, everybody? Aaron Hilliard back for another episode of Mushroom Wonderland. Today I'm going to be going in town to a local park to look underneath cottonwood trees and see if I can find some natural morels growing. These are delicious mushrooms known worldwide for their amazing flavor, and they're just really fun to hunt. So you can find them in the spring this time of year wherever there's cottonwood trees growing all across the country. So come with me on this episode to discover if we can find some natural morels growing wild in the spring right here in town on Mushroom Wonderland. Let's go.
Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland.
All right, so I'm here in Western Washington. This is one of the many rivers that come out of the mountains and run out into the Puget Sound. And we have a lot of these lowland rivers. And on the east side of the Puget Sound, these lowland rivers are often lined with cottonwood. So the genus Populus, containing like poplar trees and cottonwood trees, they have these spade-shaped leaves. And they're quite yellow when they're young, and then they get darker green. So there's a few different types of morels that grow out here this time of year. And morel, I do that because it's a common name, you know, it covers a ton of different mushrooms. And then there's different morels and early morels and false morels. And so today we're gonna be looking at the ones that associate with these kind of trees here in lowland Washington. They don't need a forest fire to burn. These are typically your early morels, so Verpa bohemica. That one grows under cottonwoods, and it's usually the first one on the scene. It's the first one that shows up after winter, and it can grow along these river edges underneath the cottonwoods. Same kind of habitat. You're going to find Morchella, one of the true morels, Morchella populophylla. This one is the half-free morel, and it associates with these trees, the cottonwoods that are in the genus Populus. So that's how it gets its name, Populophylla, and it grows here every year under the cottonwoods in varying amounts. Some years you find a lot and some years not so much. And then we have like Morchella brunea. That one is a lowland black morel that associates with these hardwood trees. And so I find those a little bit more sporadically in these habitats than I do find the half-free morels. It seems that I can find the half-free morels a lot more commonly, but the brunea, when they're big and thick, man, those can be some beautiful morel mushrooms. So these are the perfect habitats. This is the kind of stuff you want to be looking in, and it's beautiful to hear the sound of the river. I'm kind of in the city, so we hear cars occasionally, but you know, the river is running, the light speckling through the leaves. It's a beautiful time of year to be out here under the cottonwoods, just foraging around for mushrooms like I love to do. Cottonwood trees are an indicator species because they're easier to find than the mushrooms. So you just look for these big towering cottonwood trees, a big grove of them, and then you start to look around closely on the ground underneath them this time of year. Once the ground temperature is up around 50 degrees at an average 52 degrees or so, this is really what the morels like. And so when they start popping up, they can be kind of hard to spot, but I'll go out here and just wander around under these cottonwood trees and usually get lucky this time of year. This is an area where I have found them in the past, so I'm gonna go into where it's kind of sandy along the banks of this river and see if I can see any. So here's a downed cottonwood. Here's a closer look at these leaves. They're spade shaped, do you see that? When they're young, they have this really golden yellow kind of tinge to them. And as they get a little older, they're more green, but they're very shiny and beautiful. And these trees have smooth bark until they get older, and then they get these crazy furrows and very thick bark. But yeah, these are the trees that you're looking for, the black cottonwood. They could be quite hard to spot among all of these leaves. So I bent down to have a look at these little Satharilla mushrooms growing here, and I look over to the side, and lo and behold, what do I see? My first morel of the day. This one is old. Look at that, a big blown out half-free morel. This one, Morchella populophylla, named for the genus of trees that it grows with these cottonwood trees. So this one's old, definitely beyond its prime, but you can see they're growing here. So this one hollow inside the stem, you see that? True morels are generally hollow all the way through. And this one has this edge of the cap dangles over it, kind of like your more average mushroom shape. But this one would have been good a week and a half ago. I guess I'm late to the game, but it's a good sign because this is a big old one, but there's probably various ages of them growing around here. So happy to see that. My first half-free morel of the year here in April still of 2024. So it's a good sign. Man, and it can really blend in with the surroundings here. But definitely a good sign to get us started. Always scanning, you know, always scanning the ground. And you kind of want to find a nice medium between going too fast and missing them, or going too slow and wasting time in areas that don't have mushrooms. My season started out really hot, finding burn morels and landscape morels left and right, but as far as these naturals go, I would like to say that they haven't came up yet, but I just found that super big old blown out one, so maybe it's just a very lousy year for them. There's a little brown mushroom, a LBM. That's a good sign, you know, just seeing fungi around, but you know, maybe I just got spoiled last year and in previous years, and it's just like a super lousy year. I hope not, you know, but sometimes it be like that. All right, well, I've been out here for like 30 minutes and all I've found is that one big blown out half-free morel. This sucks, man. You know, it's not always a win. I learn a lot just by walking around in the woods. Even if I'm not finding mushrooms, I know that there's certain factors going on where the mushrooms just aren't up. Now, whether they already fruited for their little seasonal flush or not, I'm not sure. You know, sometimes one will fruit like that and then the other ones will come up maybe after the next rain. So I'm definitely down to come back after the next rain, but I'm just disappointed walking around here, going really slow out now actually. We just need some good rains. It's been pretty dry for this past few weeks in Washington. There's kind of a saying, and it goes with all sorts of species of trees, so it's sort of just like a cute saying, but it says that when the leaves on the cottonwoods are the size of mouse ears, that's when the morels are coming up. And that happened like a month ago. And that morel I found is about a month old. And so I think, you know, we just had an early spring maybe and had a fruiting then, and it might just be over. I don't know. Sometimes the mycelium of certain mushrooms will just have enough energy to produce one flush, you know, and it'll be over for the year. You're either winning or you're learning, you know what I mean? And so I'm learning today. All kinds of things. A lot of stuff I probably don't even realize yet. Dang it. I thought it was a shrump. Oh no. I think I just spotted the evidence that I'm way too late. Oh my gosh. Look at this guy. It's a big old morel right there. And old being the operative word. Dang. So that's two super old morels that we found. This one just on the edge of where somebody had a little fire down by the river. I would be cautious in areas like this that are sort of urban. You know, people come back here and go potty and whatnot. But that is a massive, big morel that is super old. And that thing was like a tree at one time, but Yeah, I think that confirms my answer. I'm late to the game, man. They already flushed, so I don't know. They might do it again after the next rain, but I found 2 super old morels, and a slug was eating it too. It's a big morel. I'm actually wearing a pair of the mushroom seeing glasses, and I can totally see how these could help. In fact, I just spotted something, but not a morel, one of these satharillas that are growing around here. But when I put these on, it just kind of makes everything more 3D, and it's like, I'm not gonna wear them all the time, but I can totally see the value in these. Like when I just throw them on and to look like this. I don't know, a lot of people think they're a gimmick or something like that. It's a money back guarantee. Like, it can't be a scam if they will give you your money back if you don't like them. I can totally see how they could help. You know what I mean? They're not like gonna do the work for you. You still have to know the habitat and where you're going, but I can totally see the promise in these. So as I've been going along, I'm like stopping and throwing the glasses on here and there, just because they really do kind of help make things look 3D. It's really weird. If you tried them on, you'd be like, whoa, that is pretty cool. The Fungeyes glasses, these are a real thing. You know, I mean, they're not guaranteed to make you find mushrooms, but they're guaranteed your money back if you're not satisfied with them, which I think is pretty cool. And they look good. You know, they haven't really like proved to be super useful yet because I'm not finding any mushrooms. But yep, gonna keep looking with my Fungeyes on. I touched briefly on false morels at the beginning of the video, and in these kind of habitats, I rarely see false morels or Gyromitra esculenta complex. I don't think that they really like this kind of habitat. I don't know, I just never really see them here, but they are kind of a concern when you're out looking for morels. You might come across Gyromitra esculenta. So this is a complex of mushrooms that are known to even be deadly when eaten raw. Even morels contain some toxins, so they should all be cooked, but especially Gyromitra has something called gyromitrin that metabolizes into a rocket fuel when you eat it. And even when you're cooking it, it lets these hydrazines off into the air. So it can be toxic just to be cooking them, just the fumes of those mushrooms. And they look pretty different from morels. I'm gonna put a picture up here of the Gyromitra esculenta, or the false morel. And they're much more dark reddish color, often just kind of a sort of maroon, deep maroon color. And they don't have the holes in the pits that typical morels do. These are all kind of like one connected surface, but they are that same sort of texture that morels have. They're in the same group of fungi, the ascomycetes, so they do feel a bit like true morels. But keep your eye out for the Gyromitras. Make sure you don't get those mixed up in your basket, and always make sure to cook these kind of mushrooms. Cook them at least till they're like 190 degrees, you know, boiling. If you can get some water in the pan and get it to a boil, you know you've reached 212 degrees, and it will have got any of these hydrazines cooked away. So just a little bit of safety on the trail when it comes to dangerous lookalikes, because these, I guess they do, depending on your definition of what a lookalike is, you know. And here's some little egg Grosby coming up. So there's some mushrooms out here. Yeah. I really think it's just, oh, there's another one. So this one, a Grosby praecox. I actually think they're pretty decent edible. Look, that one hasn't even broke its veil yet. But they're pretty common. The Springfield cap, I cooked some up recently and I found them to be quite delightful. In fact, I was trying to find something wrong with them, but I just couldn't do it. I thought they were good. And I'm a little bit picky. So that being said, a Grosby praecox, you could gather up a little handful of them and throw them in your omelet or something. They would be pretty tasty. So not a complete loss. There are some mushrooms out here in this sandy habitat. So the mushrooms that I found today, I'm just gonna leave them behind. There just isn't enough or anything worth really gathering up. But just to give you an idea, I think it flushed like a month ago and we just need some more rain. So I'm gonna come check this spot again when it rains. But for now, I think maybe save your time if you're going to look for natural morels under the cottonwoods in Western Washington. a little bit tardy to the party, but we got rain coming in a few days. So I think, you know, that might spur another flush on. So anyways, thanks for joining me on this somewhat unproductive episode of Mushroom Wonderland. And until the next one, much love, everyone. Peace out.